Okay, here we are, people. Round 2. Didn't think it would be coming this quickly, but here we have it. The second album in the double album rollout from the Skrill himself. Don't get too close. We've had a couple of tracks released from this so far, which I've been a little bit mixed on, if I'm being honest. Varying levels of fine and okay kind of thing. But, you know, we got quite a few more to go with that, like maybe 8 or 9, I think, beyond the ones we know already. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. From what I've heard so far, just seen a couple people talking about it. It's a bit more chilled, it's a bit more pop leaning, it is notably different from Quest for Fire, which is a bit more banger centric, a bit more hypey, if you will. Got a quite eclectic range of artists on show here again with the roster. Young Lean in here, Blade, Kid Cudi, Chief Keef, Justin Bieber, Don Toliver. One quite important thing that I did notice earlier, the logo, the Skrillex logo, is the old one for this artwork and not the new one. So whatever that might say, who knows? I don't know right now. It might become apparent over the course of this stream. Kicking off with the opener, which is called Don't Leave Me Like This. We got Leave Me Like This in the Quest for Fire album, kicking that off. And here we have a kind of shorter, maybe VIP kind of version of that called Don't Leave Me Like This with Bobby Raps again. So let's go, shall we? I'm getting a couple chills already, you know? Oh, I love that. I love the isolation of this vocal.
You would make further and further out gambles as to what you would dream.
Is it going to transition into the next tune?
Where you are now.
We'll keep going, we'll keep going. Oh yes, Way Back, we have already heard, of course. Looking for a way back home. Catchy, catchy. Not sure about these little trumpet sounds. I never have been. I've gone back to this track a few times just to see how it grows on me. These don't quite fit or work for me. Absolutely love that introduction. You know, really nice because Bobby Rap's vocal, not to say that it gets like overwhelmed in any way with Leave Me Like This that opens up Quest for Fire. It doesn't get drowned out, it's nothing like that, but it does play a kind of second role, play second fiddle to the central points, which are the drops. You know, that's the thing that is like kind of announcing the album. It's like, this is going to be a bit heavy, it's going to be hypey, you're going to get a lot of that. And again, not that the vocal gets lost in that track, but it does play second fiddle, like I said. So to have it isolated like that and really allow that chill factor just to kind of wash over you, you can understand the lyrics better, you can hear it all better. It's beautiful, it's stunning, very arresting way, I think, to open up this project. It felt very fragile and delicate, and that's just quite a good way to open up this LP tonally. You know, again, that thing of letting you know what you're in for, what I imagine we're going to get a lot of with this LP, just in a different way to how Quest for Fire did it with Leave Me Like This, which, like I said, was hypey and energetic and in your face with the wubs and all that. Yeah, beautiful. And then leading into Way Back, a track that I'm not sold on yet. I think it's okay. The production's very nice. It's got that fresh and kind of colourful, sweet, summery kind of vibe to it, which is nice. You know, it's pleasant. The vocal from Trippie Redd is catchy enough. I think that's pretty catchy part of the track. The Pink Pantheress feature, I'm not quite as enamoured with. Keeps it feeling youthful across the track. Quite a sugary, sweet vocal there from her. But it doesn't quite have the catchy factor for me that the Trippie Redd input does. But I suppose that's probably because it's a verse as opposed to a chorus. That would make sense. Moving on though, we have track number 3, Selecta with Beam. My selector, oh yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah, okay. Okay. I'm loving this interconnectedness between tracks across the album. I'm liking that, it's cool, I'm liking it. Those little wubby wub wubs, okay. Oh, yes. Turn it right into a lovely little housey beat. Go on. The drums are just, again, exceptional. The percussion across the board. He is up there. He is right up there when it comes to your drums, when it comes to your percussions. That is a very nice tune. I'm not going to lie. I'll be quite surprised if there's another track across this LP that tops that, because I think that's just got a lot going for it. It did take a minute or so to kind of grow into itself and become kind of memorable or sticky or infectious in any way. Just kind of plodding along with that thumping kick, you know. The verse, just fine. You're just like, okay, just easing its way in. Then as soon as the my selector, you know, as soon as that comes in for the first time, that kind of kicks the track into gear, I think. That little catchy refrain, gonna stick in your head, very memorable, love that. Then from there, we get the first kind of drop, I suppose. It's not really a drop in the sense of like slamming into something heavy and like really announcing itself, but it is a central point, it's a focal point, and I just absolutely love the percussion there. Again, I've said it before with Quest for Fire and Skrillex overall, but just how rounded it sounds, the sound overall, just so good, produced so well, and you got those wubs kind of hovering below, very nice. When that comes back in again for the second drop or focal point, it's lovely. The vocal is repeated as well in that second half, so by the end it just has this feeling of all tying together well. Love how the more housey percussion comes in that second drop, gives it a bit more of a pace as it draws to a close, which is lovely. The connection to Rumble, DJ, so that is clearly, well, not clearly, but I feel like he might have made this tune way before Rumble, and then he's just like, I'm just going to take that, pitch it up a bit and put it in Rumble, which is, you know, very clever. It's cool. These little Easter eggs that he's presenting to us and shoving our way. I love it. Next up, Ceremony with Young Lean and Blade. Let's get it. Track number 4. What I got now won't be here again. Let the sunshine shine right in. Everywhere we go, they let us in. Smoking hair and smell like mint. Eggs on the line, paradise. It calls on me. The fall, the pricing. Yeah, rose gold rain. It's been too real. A bit of a garagey kind of vibe and feel to this one. Baby cakes, you just don't know. Smells like men. Is that what he's saying? It just smells like men everywhere. Yeah, that track's okay. I think I preferred the Blade input a lot more than the Young Lean. I'm pretty sure I've got that right in terms of identifying who was who in that track. But yeah, the Young Lean just felt a little bit too lax, like a little bit too conversational, not quite the right way. Just felt a little bit weary, a little bit tired as a vocal overall. And I get that's his thing. I get that's kind of what he goes for and how he kind of sells himself as an artist. Completely fair enough. But yeah, not quite for me, especially in a track that is quite animated with its instrumental. The difference in tone between them, I think, was quite stark, and I just prefer what Blade, the input of Blade on that track for me personally. The instrumental's fine. It's got a lot of original UK garage kind of influence. You know, I was thinking about tracks like Sweet Like Chocolate and Baby Cakes, you know, that kind of thing when I was hearing that. Love that energy, love that style. But next up, we have another Blade collaboration, Real Spring, which has been out for a couple weeks or so, I think, by now. And I actually haven't heard it. I was away when this one came out, so yeah, yet to hear it. These tracks kind of feel like he's not trying to prove anything per se. He's just making nice, chilled, pleasant, laid-back music that, you know, doesn't have a particular thing or, you know, real aim that it's going for. It's more of that vocal chopping. I was talking about this quite a lot with Quest for Fire, just vocal chopping that's just fine. Has a nice, you know, feel to it, and the sound is nice, but in terms of the kind of melodic progression it goes on, not adding that much to the track. Yeah, I mean, it's another pretty and pleasant track, to be honest. Like I said, you know, especially with the first 2/3 of it, we did get that kind of release moment with that vocal chopping, which I just talked about. But before that, yeah, I mean, it's just a track that is it's fine. You know, it doesn't have a particular aim, I don't think. It's just someone making music and putting sounds together without having like a particular idea about it, and just be like, oh yeah, we're just gonna put this together and that together. We're not gonna have anything really in mind. It's just gonna be a nice, pleasant experience and outlay of sounds, you know. And I think that is kind of what we get here, and what we've got a bit of as well before that on this album so far. The vocal is fine. I mean, the vocal fits the trap laden instrumental fine enough. I think it's a decent enough combination, just not a lot of character or personality there. Like I said, it's just a track that's kind of there without selling much particular. And then it goes into that release moment with the vocal chopping. It's a nice sound. It's classic Skrillex, you know, kind of chopping. It's got that icy kind of flavour to it. Does it elicit, you know, that much kind of emotion or feeling? I'm not sure. It just feels like it, again, like I said, we got a lot of it in Quest for Fire. It just feels like it's kind of there without having that much of a thing about it. Just kind of doing it for the sake of it kind of thing. Next up, we have, a big hitter coming into the mix, Kid Cudi, featuring on this track, number 6, Summertime. Having this album playing as you're bolting it down a motorway in the summer, roof off the car. We have the chat back, which is fantastic. Yay, look, lettering and colours and all that. So we just heard Summertime. Yeah, that was alright. I mean, it's good in the sense of like continuing the theme and the vibe of the tracks just before it. I suppose it's good for that, but you know, does it have anything particular singling it out? I wouldn't say so. I mean, it was another trap instrumental, I think, and yeah, I could feel the summery vibes of it. I could see myself in the car with the roof off, you know. It's good for carrying that on, but aside from noticing Kid Cudi's voice, I'm not sure again there that there's anything particularly memorable about it, really. I mean, yeah, it's just fine. It's another track where I'm just like, it's fine. Next up, we have Bad For Me with Corbin and Chief Keef. So more rapper influence going on right here. Let's get it. Track number 7. I mean, he really is just making like a succession of very, very poppy tracks. Like, these are the kind of tracks that I was hearing in cheesy clubs in a uni when I was at uni like 6-7 years ago. Like, again, it's nice, it's pleasant, it's like, you know, it's agreeable. Is it adding to his discography? It's making up this album for sure, but you know, is this it's just interesting. I'm just getting used to it. I'm in the process of getting used to it. Kind of catchy, kind of memorable, not massively though. And then beyond that, it's just again quite a simple, very club oriented, trappy kind of beat. Not loads of memorability factor on show here. I'm basically, like I said, just in the process now of getting used to what Skrillex is presenting here. But objectively for me, this last 4 just sound extremely similar. And when I was talking about Selector earlier being like, I can imagine this will be the best one, I'll be surprised if there's a better one than this. I mean, if it's just going to be mostly this for the rest of the LP, then that is just going to ring true. Do you know what I mean? Background kind of tracks for me, which, fair. If he wants to make this music, obviously that's completely fine and fair. And I'm happy he is doing it and releasing it because he clearly wants to make it because he's putting it out. Even though Quest for Fire is different, it is like a step away from the old Skrillex, I'm still like, yeah, it's got him stamped all over it. Whereas this I couldn't tell apart from hundreds of other songs like it. Several of these, well, the last few just fall completely into that remit, that kind of ballpark. And I'm not sure I can hear him, Skrill, on these tunes, you know what I mean? But there are more to come yet. We have more to hear and enjoy, potentially. 3am is track number 8 with Prentice and Anthony Green. A bit punchier, but I mean, yeah, just similar kind of vibe yet again. The motive of these is all like, there's not loads distinguishing these tracks, do you know what I mean? My guy's just going for poppy trap tunes. Not a massive fan of this vocal, I have to admit. Got the catchy bit, got the repetition of that, but pitched in the wrong way. Not that the vocal is pitched, but the pitch of It's more vocal chopping. It is more vocal chopping. What I was saying about the vocal is that not that the thing itself, the vocal itself, was pitched up by Sonny, by Skrillex, but more that the natural pitch of it itself just feels a bit whiny and just a little bit. Again, fine. Nothing really substantial there for me to remark on and comment on, if I'm being honest. Yeah, just fine. Like I said, another continuation of this trap theme that we are getting on this LP. And yeah, the last 4 or 5, genuinely, I'm just like, okay, that's just pretty much almost the same thing that you're going for there again and again and again. I want to reiterate, he's doing this because he wants to do it. He's making this distinction between the albums because he wants to. But I suppose for me as a listener, I'm struggling to see the point of having these all together and even making them and putting them in the same thing, if you know what I mean. Like, what is distinguishing these tracks from one another? You'd like to think that the tracks have their own individualities about them. Of course they do, the vocals are different, blah blah blah, but the tone of them, the style of the percussion and the execution, there's not a lot of difference. So I'm just like, why would I go back to one over the other, if you know what I mean? This is me just having heard them once, okay? It's not like a super refined opinion that I'm giving here, just my initial thoughts and instant reaction having heard them all once. And that is my overwhelming feeling with that past, 4 or 5, like I said. Yeah, interesting. We have track number 9 now, which is Don't Go, with the boy Justin Bieber and the other boy Don Toliver. It's another trappy kind of beat right there. That is what we've got again. Okay, this one's decent. I like this vocal from Justin. Here we're getting a bit of character, we're getting a bit of personality from Justin Bieber. I like that. Not as apparent in the ones preceding this track, in my opinion. Good notes being hit. I think the others just felt a little bit drab and a bit, not conversational, but just wrong in different ways. More direct with what it's trying to provide, whereas the others, they just feel like they're there, like they're just existing. This has got like a purpose and a bit of a drive about it. Personality, like I said, bit of attitude, I think I've said pretty much everything I have to say about that one. Bit of charm about it, which the others before it, I just don't think they do have that. They're just, like I said, existing. They're just there. Whereas this one feels like it's got a bit more of an edge about it, just a bit more bit more personality. I've said those words multiple times, but that is exactly what this one has got in my opinion. Track number 10 is the title track. I've heard it before. With BB Burelli. A very nice placement of this track, I think, just to wind it down before the final couple of tracks. Longest track indeed, just over 4 minutes. You know, I really like to think that he just was in such a calm and peaceful place when he was writing this music. You know, just he didn't care really completely like too much how it sounded. He just wanted to get some chilled tracks out there that kind of reflect his peaceful mental state at that time. I love it for that, if that was the case, you know. I've been thinking about this line. I've been thinking about this for ages. Like, I hope she's alright. This is where conversational vocals just sound good. And then Sonny Moore just comes in. Yep, Goosebump Central right here. Yep. It's a lovely track. It's a calming freeze frame kind of moment. I'd like to think that that is like the perfect representation on this LP, or the best representation of him, Skrillex, in his good place, in his peaceful state of mind. And we get a vocal from him, which just makes it all the more chilling in a good way, and relatable, nostalgic, and just outright beautiful. I love Borelli's just conversational tone here. The notes she hits as well are good. The instrumental as well is beautiful, gorgeous. Got a kind of sublime feel to it, I think. Up in the clouds, ethereal kind of vibes. The penultimate cut here is, like I mentioned earlier, Mixed Signals with Sway Lee again, who featured on Quest for Fire as well. Let's go.
I'm getting mixed signals from you, mixed signals, so spoken, experiment, I don't know any other way to live it.
Re-engaging the soft, poppy D&B approach there that was established earlier on with the second track Way Back, and now the penultimate cut. So we've got the second track in and the second track from last going for this kind of approach. It's fine, again, it's fine, not offensive in any way, just nice clean production, fine vocal, nothing again that memorable about it. It feels like the kind of D&B version of all that trap that we got, trap leaning poppy music that we got in the middle part of this LP. It's just the D&B version of that. It's fine, it's plain, it's just there, not really selling anything particular, just kind of existing and doing a thing. The essence of it, of the album, is strongly felt still. You can see what it's going for. Is it a track I'm going to be revisiting loads? Probably not. Finally though, we have track number 12, Borelli featuring yet again. This one is called Painting Rainbows. Lovely, what a gorgeous title. Closing off this double album cycle, the final track. Let's go.
Painting rainbows when it's storm, when it rain. Painting rainbows on the seats in a train. I paint rainbows when I speak, when I sing. I paint rainbows when I speak, when I sing. Still here with the ones that I came with. Still here with the ones that I came with. Sunshine, yeah, sunny sunshine.
That's nice. I see what you did there. I see what you did there. Okay. Tell them. Attitude, energy. I'm really feeling this vocal so far.
Every time I tell the truth, I tell the truth. I tell the truth, I tell the fucking truth. Copycat, 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 cop. 5 minutes in the booth, it's a rap.
Interesting. Yeah, that is That is one of my favourites, I think. Just love the energy of it. I like the personality. We've mentioned that word quite a few times, but nice what Bareilles brings to the table here. Some fantastic lyricism, good bit of attitude to her vocal. Nice angling of words against each other. Yeah, beat's sick as well. This just reminds me of having fun and being with people that I love and cherish, and that's a very important thing, I think. Because we did get ample tracks here on this LP that didn't really provide anything on that front. You know, summery vibes and all that, but not like an attitude or like a personality or something of that ilk to go with that and really sell itself, you know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, this album is a mixed experience, I would say. There are very good tracks here. I love the way it opens up with Don't Leave Me Like This, and Selector is a very good track as well. I enjoyed Don't Go a decent amount. Don't Get Too Close is a lovely time-stopping kind of moment, and that ending one with Bareilles again was nice. Capped it off well, but it doesn't feel like an album in the same way that Quest for Fire does, if you know what I mean. I think Quest for Fire's got a lot more character about it. It feels more considered. It feels like the tracks have got a kind of relationship between them and that something is trying to be told across it. Whereas this to me just feels like a load of demo kind of tracks that don't have, for the most part, well, at least half of them I would say, don't have that much about them, and they're just kind of being put together and compiled into a little list, into a little project. Which is cool. That's completely fine. Obviously, he can do whatever he wants and like present his music however he wants. But this isn't like an album that I'm like, God, I've got to go back to that. I've got to engage in that story and immerse myself in the feeling of that. It does have that feeling. It does have that summery feeling, the pop leaning vibe. That's good, especially as a difference from Quest for Fire. But is it an experience that I'm like really going to be fully engaged by for the whole thing? Does it have that, you know, is it offering that for me to feel like I have to go back to it? Not at the moment, having heard it once. You know, it could be a situation where some of these in the middle in particular grow on me a bit. I imagine that will happen a little bit, but perhaps not that much. Not in the same way as Quest for Fire anyway. Mentioned this earlier, but I like to think that Sonny reaching a point of being like, I'm not trying to overly impress anyone now. Effortless feeling kind of tracks. They don't need to have a particular thing about them. I just want to put these sounds together and make something pleasant, and then make a couple more of them and turn it into a specific project of music. You know, I'm cool with that. That is a heavy dose of new Skrillex material, and that's what we all wanted, and we've got it. So, you know, all that's left is for us to kind of keep going back to it, honour the fact that he has done that, and get used to these tunes, because we might not be seeing him again for quite a while. I mean, who knows what the next step for him is, but yeah, just I think it is necessary for us to stick with this music and appreciate the fact that he has put so much work into these tunes. We might not like them right now, but I think it is right that we give these albums a proper chance and allow them to kind of have their effect on us over at least, you know, 7-8 listens or so. But yeah, for now, having heard it once, I'm going to be leaving it there. Don't Get Too Close, the second of Skrillex's double album rollout. There we go.